exist. Take a look around you and the greatest achievements of humanity itself, from the construction of the Great Pyramids of Giza to the marvel of modern technology. Everything around us that humans ever built and desired, since the beginning of time, they all started as a simple thought. Every single one of your wants, your needs, and dreams, every desire you ever wished for, whether it be fantastical fantasies of insane wealth, being in the best health you've ever felt, becoming physically younger and fitter than ever, having loving and fulfilling relationships, or enjoying complete and utter freedom. All of these outcomes were a result from your mind, and it all initially began as nothing but a simple thought. If you're currently not experiencing the kind of happiness in life that you deserve, whether it be from constantly being stressed out and worried, whether it be not having enough money, whether it be from health and physical ailments, then I have news for you that might sound almost too good to be true. In the next few moments, I'm going to prove to you conclusively that there is a simple, yet closely guarded secret 60-second process you can follow that begins rewiring the neural connections in your brain so that you'll automatically manifest all that you desire in life, while simultaneously actively repelling what you do not desire. If you want to learn the 60-second neural manifestation process that will kickstart the alignment of your subconscious with the most powerful hidden law of the universe, then watch very closely and mark today's date, because my story will absolutely change your life. This is not the law of attraction or the secret. This is not about reciting endless, useless affirmations. This is also not about the power of prayer, and this is definitely not airy-fairy woo-woo garbage. Whatever you think this presentation is about, I guarantee you have never heard of anything like this before. Hi, my name is David Sanderson. Let me show you a simple yet relatively unknown neural manifestation switch that will allow you to design your own destiny and force the universe to give you whatever your heart desires. I grew up in Las Vegas and came from a broken household. My mom was 15 when she gave birth to me, and my biological dad was always in and out of jail. When I was 14, I left school to help support my siblings because my mother was an alcoholic, as the stress of raising 4 kids alone was too much for her to bear. At 18, I was kicked out of my mom's house because I beat my mother's then boyfriend in a match of poker. To my horror, she actually sided with him and moved me out to end up living in a park. So trust me when I tell you this, no matter what kind of struggles that brought you here, whether it be suffering from financial hardship, whether it be suffering from health-related anxiety, whether it just be a general feeling of unhappiness, there is a reason you found my video online today, whether you realize it or not. It was not simply an accident. Some people call it fate, others may call it destiny. Whatever the case may be, it was a precise series of events and sequences that led to you being here. I know what it feels like to be sitting out on the street, out in the rain, holding a sign, begging for food with people walking by and giving me judgmental looks. I carried around the heavy pain of knowing I was abandoned by my father and my mother like a ball and chain around my ankle. Looking back at my life only a few years ago, being on the verge of suicide, it's hard to believe that was my everyday reality. I was broke, hopeless, depressed, and worst of all, lonely. But all that has changed, and this is thankfully all in the past, because now as a self-made millionaire, traveling the world giving motivational seminars, my life is a complete dream. And it all came down to just a quick neural manifestation process that only took 60 seconds to start, which eventually aligned my subconscious to the universe to rewire the brain networks operating inside my mind. And it didn't require reading and studying hours of self-help books. It didn't require paying thousands of dollars attending high-ticket training boot camps. It didn't require focused meditation or anything like that. In fact, it all began with a 60-second test one night before I went to sleep at night. And before I knew it, I was automatically manifesting unbridled wealth, love, happiness, prosperity, and freedom into my everyday life. What most people don't realize is that the human subconscious mind is the most powerful entity in the known universe. Your subconscious controls your reality around you. Things that happen to you in your life, good or bad, have a direct link to the quantum realm and the universe. Sometimes your subconscious mind can become out of tune, so to speak, almost like a neglected piano. The more time that goes on without retuning your subconscious, the more out of control your life will become. You see, experiments in the quantum realm indicate that when we use our brain to think, we emit brain and energy waves. That is why when we think of happy things, our body physiologically reacts in the same way and generates positive human energy fields, resulting in a happy and uplifting mood. So it is scientifically true and literally accurate when people say that we become what we think about. But what if I told you human energy fields that begin as mere thoughts influence the quantum field surrounding us. Yes, what I am saying is that the human energy fields created by thoughts are actually affecting the reality of things around you. You see, there was a very famous experiment done almost 100 years ago called the double-slit experiment. This was a physics experiment conducted at the quantum level to determine how atomic particles would interact with their immediate surroundings. Each time the experiment was conducted with no recording machine or observer, the results would indicate outcome 1. However, as soon as the experiment was conducted with a recording machine or physical observer, the results would always end up as outcome 2. This confused the scientists at the time, because they could not believe that the mere presence of a recording device observing the experiment process would actually alter the outcome of the experiment. But eventually, after multiple experiments conducted by various test groups, the results were undeniable. At the quantum level, the mere fact of an observer resulted in the experiment outcome being changed. Eventually, it was discovered the reasoning behind this was that the equipment used to do the filming itself was emitting energy fields in the form of light particles to record and view the experiment being conducted. This in itself would alter the results of the experiment at the quantum level. So why is this significant, you might ask? Well, in short, this scientifically proves your thoughts literally affect reality through the energy matter it emits. You see, everything that makes up the reality in this universe is made of units of energy. Notice that I did not say units of matter, because the truth is, everything in the universe is made up of energy, not matter. As you get down to the smallest particles, atoms, quarks, and even smaller units, scientists realize that these elements are in reality just energy, not matter. That means that car you have in your driveway, the screen you are viewing this presentation on right now, and even your own body is not as solid as you've been led to believe. Rather, it is made up of energy. Therefore, your thoughts, being energy, can directly affect your surroundings. Our very thoughts are truly, in every sense of the word, masters of creation, because we literally decide what manifests out of the field of all possibility, as our very thoughts affect outcomes at the quantum level. We change the subtle energies within and around us with every thought, action, and emotion. Positive, joy-filled thoughts and emotions put beneficial energies into our beings and into our living environment. But sadly, most of us are unconsciously surrounding and filling ourselves with what we don't want in our lives. We unwittingly attract what we don't want into our lives by the way we think and feel. This is because our subconscious is misaligned with the natural laws of the universe. This point was further illustrated in 2004 by Dr. Masaru Emoto when he released a New York Times best-selling book called The Messages in the Water. In the famous rice experiment, Dr. Masaru Emoto proved that a person's mind and emotions have a direct positive or negative effect upon water molecules. He did this by putting equal amounts of dried rice into 3 separate jars. Then he filled up the jars with water from the same source in the same amount. Then he created 3 labels for each jar. Jar 1 was labeled love. Jar 2 was labeled ignore. Jar 3 was labeled hate. Once a day, he'd go to jar 1 labeled love and tell it, I love you. He'd go to jar 2 labeled ignore and completely ignore it. He'd then go to jar 3 labeled hate and tell it, idiot, I hate you. After a few weeks, something astonishing happened. Jar 1 labeled love that was given loving treatment on a daily basis actually started to ferment with beautiful colors. Jar 2 that he ignored simply turned black. Jar 3 that he told he hated, well, the rice actually began to rot. This experiment has been repeated countless times by various YouTube channels as well. This proves conclusively the water by some unknown means actually understood the intent of his consciousness, and as a result, changed the molecular structure based on that. That is